The first letter from the Homeowners Association was waiting on the counter when we moved in, printed on heavy cream paper like a wedding invitation. Welcome to Briar Creek Estates. Compliance ensures harmony. At the bottom, a list of rules ran smaller than the rest. Dense and legal. The kind you promised yourself you'd read later. Primera. De onte. I was too busy admiring the symmetry of the neighborhood lawns. Trimmed, 2 identical lengths. Mailboxes standing at the same angle. American flags hanging motionless even when the wind blew everywhere else. At night, the quiet felt staged. No dogs barked, no sirens passed. The streetlights hummed in unison, a soft electrical breath. The neighbors waved, but never smiled with their eyes. They watched us unload boxers, their gazes lingering just long enough to feel measured, recorded. The second letter arrived 3 days later. Violation notice. Our porch light was the wrong color temperature. Briar Creek Estates permitted only soft white illumination between 2-7 no, okay, and 3-0. The notice warned that continued non-compliance would result in corrective action. No fine listed, just that phrase, corrective action. I changed the bulb. After that, the rules multiplied. Trash bins could only be placed at the curb between 6 a.m. and 6:15 a.m. Lawns had to be mowed twice weekly, but never on Sundays. Curtains were mandatory after sunset. No music audible beyond property lines. No guests overnight without prior HOA approval. Each rule arrived in its own envelope. Always unsigned. Always pulled. Strange things started happening after midnight. I'd wake to the sound of synchronized footsteps outside. Dozens of shoes moving in perfect rhythm along the sidewalks. When I peeked through the curtains, careful not to part them too much, I saw silhouettes, walking single file. Faces turned forward, arms at their sides. They wore the same dark jackets. They never looked at the houses, except ours. The next morning, another ladder waited. Observation, notice. It thanked us for continued participation and reminded us that privacy violations compromise community trust. I hadn't told anyone I'd been watching. The HOA office sat at the center of the neighborhood, a low building designed to look like a friendly clubhouse. Inside, the air smelled faintly of bleach and fresh paper. The woman at the desk wore a name tag that said Helen, though when I asked her a question, she blinked as if she hadn't heard me, then smiled too slowly. "You'll find everything you need in the bylaws," she said, sliding a thick binder toward me. The cover read, Briar Creek Estates, Living Standards. I flipped through it. Some rules contradicted others. Some were impossible. One required residents to be inside their homes from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. Another required participation in community walks during those same hours. Which one is enforced? I asked. Helen's smile widened. All of them. The first fine arrived a week later. $0.0 beneath it. A note. Balance pending assessment. That night, the footsteps stopped outside our house. Instead, they gathered next door. Our neighbor, Mr. Caldwell, had waved at us every morning without ever speaking. At 2:30 a.m., his porch light flicked on. It was the wrong color, harsh blue-white. A violation. The silhouettes surrounded his house. There was no shouting, no struggle, just a low humming sound, like a chorus holding a single note. Then the light went out. In the morning, Mr. Caldwell's house looked freshly repainted. New grass, new mailbox, no sign anyone had ever lived there. The listing went up that afternoon. Move-in ready. Preset to sell more letters. Came our grass was too long, then too short. Our curtains had been parted by 2 inches. Our car had been parked facing the wrong direction overnight. Each notice ended the same way. Corrective action scheduled. We tried to leave. On the day we packed the car, every neighbor stood in their driveways, watching silently. As we reached the end of the street, the gate slid shut with a metallic thud. A digital sign lit up above it. Exit denied. Outstanding balance. How much? I shouted at the empty guard booth. My phone buzzed. A new email from the HOA. Subject. Final assessment. The amount field was blank. Instead, there was a single line. Balance due is participation. That night, the community walk came for us. They knocked politely, 3 times, in perfect rhythm. When I didn't answer, the door unlocked itself. I don't remember screaming. I remember being guided outside, hands gentle but unyielding. Neighbors on either side of me humming that same note. The sound crawled into my head, filled every thought until there was no room left to resist. We walked. The sidewalks glowed faintly. Symbols etched into the concrete I'd never noticed before. Rules, carved deep. Obey. Conform. Maintain property values. The words pulsed under our feet. At the center of the neighborhood, we stopped. The HOA office door stood open. Inside, the walls were covered in photographs of every resident, every room, every violation captured from impossible angles. Helen stood at the front, holding a ledger bound in something that looked like leather but felt warm. "Welcome," she said. "Your balance is ready to be settled." I understood then. The HOA wasn't about fines or control or suburban order. It was about feeding the neighborhood itself, a living thing that survived on sameness, on compliance, on people who believed rules mattered more than fear. In the morning, a moving truck pulled into Briar Creek Estates. A new family stepped out, smiling, hopeful. Our house gleamed behind them, perfect and empty. The lawn cut to regulation length. On the counter inside, a cream-colored envelope waited. "Welcome to the neighborhood. Compliance ensures harmony.